There is a moment, often late at night, when the noise fades, when expectations loosen their grip, and you finally hear the truth beneath your thoughts. You are tired, not just physically, but deeply tired. Tired of trying to control a world that refuses to listen. Tired of chasing certainty in a life that offers none. Tired of becoming everything, except yourself. The Stoics understood this exhaustion. They lived through wars, exile, loss, and uncertainty. Yet they did not collapse under the weight of it. They learned something timeless. Peace does not come from fixing life. It comes from mastering the self. This video is not about becoming perfect in 2026. It is about becoming steady, clear, rooted. 7 habits, 7 inner shifts. A Stoic way of living that does not shout, but endures. Let us begin where all Stoicism begins. Habit 1. Master what is within your control. Epictetus, once a slave, began his teachings with a sentence so simple and so devastating that most people still refuse to accept it. Some things are up to us. Some things are not. Almost all human suffering comes from confusing the two we try to control. Other people's behavior, the past, the outcome, the timing, the approval, the certainty, and when life refuses to obey, we grow bitter, anxious, resentful, exhausted. The Stoic does something radical. They withdraw their energy from what they cannot command and invest it fully into what they can. You do not control what happens, what others choose, how life unfolds, but you do control your judgments, your actions, your character, your response. This habit alone can change your entire year, not because life becomes easier, but because you stop fighting reality. In 2026, if you want to become your best self, begin here. Each morning, ask yourself quietly, what is truly mine to carry today? And what must I release? Release the rest without drama, without bitterness, without explanation. This is not weakness. This is sovereignty. Practical Stoic application. When something frustrates you, pause, name it, ask, is this within my control? If not, practice the hardest discipline of all, acceptance without complaint. You will feel lighter, clearer, stronger, not because the world changed, but because you did. Quiet transition. Once you master what is within your control, another truth appears. Most of life's chaos comes from unexamined days. So the Stoics formed a second habit, one that shaped their entire character. Habit 2. Begin every day with intention. A quiet truth about most lives. Most lives are not ruined by tragedy. They're eroded by unconscious days. People wake up already behind, already reacting, already carrying yesterday into today. They check their phone before their soul. They absorb noise before meaning. They let the world decide the tone of their day. The Stoics refused this. They understood something modern minds forget: How you begin the day is how the day begins to shape you. So they created a habit, simple, quiet, and demanding. They met themselves before meeting the world. The Stoic morning practice. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself at dawn, not to motivate, but to prepare. He reminded himself, people will be difficult, events will not obey, praise will be unstable, time will pass quickly, and still, he would act with virtue. This is not pessimism. It is clarity. In 2026, the Stoic does not wake up asking, how can I feel good today? They ask, who must I be today, regardless of what happens? That single question changes everything. Why intention matters more than motivation. Motivation is emotional, intention is ethical. Motivation fades, intention holds. A Stoic morning is not about excitement, it is about alignment. Before the world pulls you in 100 directions, you choose your direction once. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, firmly. A Stoic morning ritual. You do not need candles. You do not need perfection. You need honesty. Each morning, sit in silence for a few moments. Acknowledge what may go wrong. Decide how you will respond. Say to yourself, today I may face frustration. Today I may be ignored. Today I may be misunderstood. And still, I will act with reason, restraint, and dignity. This prepares the mind like armor, not to attack life, but to withstand it. The power of premeditation. The Stoics practice something called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of difficulties. Not to suffer twice, but to suffer less. When you expect ease, difficulty feels like injustice. When you expect difficulty, it feels like confirmation. This habit alone reduces anger, anxiety, emotional shock. You stop asking, why is this happening? And start asking, how shall I respond? That is Stoic maturity. 2026 application. Living with intent. Imagine entering 2026 like this, not hoping the year is kind, not demanding certainty, not chasing constant positivity, but entering it prepared, calm, measured, unshaken. You do not need the year to be easy. You need yourself to be ready. And readiness is built every morning before the noise begins. A soft truth. If you feel lost in life, it is rarely because you lack direction. It is because you begin each day already surrendered to chaos. The Stoic habit is simple. Begin the day as its master, not its servant. When you begin your days with intention, you notice something unsettling. Much of modern life is built on comfort, and comfort weakens the soul. The Stoics understood this deeply, so they formed another habit, one that made them strong without cruelty. Habit 3. Embrace discomfort to strengthen the mind. The comfort trap. Modern life promises comfort as the highest good. comfort in temperature, comfort in opinions, comfort in routines, comfort in identity. And yet, never before have people been so anxious, fragile, and restless. The Stoics saw this danger long before comfort became abundant. They understood a truth that feels uncomfortable to hear. A life built entirely on comfort slowly becomes unbearable, not because comfort is evil, but because it weakens our ability to endure reality. What the Stoics practice: voluntary discomfort. Seneca, one of the wealthiest men in Rome, would occasionally eat plain food, wear rough clothing, and live simply, not because he hated pleasure, but because he refused to become dependent on it. He would ask himself, "Is this what I feared?" And when he discovered he could endure less, he feared loss less. This is the heart of the Stoic habit. Choose small discomforts now, so life's inevitable hardships do not break you later. Discomfort is training, not punishment. Stoic discomfort is not self-hatred. It is self-respect. It teaches you are stronger than your preferences. You are not ruled by appetite. You can remain calm when ease disappears. When you avoid all discomfort, you unknowingly train fear. When you face it deliberately, you train resilience. The modern Stoic practice. You do not need to live like an ancient philosopher. Start small. Start intentionally. Examples: delay gratification instead of reacting immediately. Sit with boredom without reaching for distraction. Accept criticism without defending your ego. Finish what you start, even when motivation fades. Each act whispers to the soul, "I am not weak. I do not need ease to remain whole." Why this habit transforms you in 2026. Life will not ask your permission before becoming difficult. There will be delays, losses, rejections, uncertainty. The Stoic does not panic when comfort disappears, because they have met discomfort before. They recognize it. They respect it. They endure it. This creates a quiet confidence, not arrogance, but inner steadiness. The deep emotional shift. When you stop fearing discomfort, you stop fearing life. You no longer cling desperately to what soothes you. You no longer collapse when things change. You begin to trust yourself, and that trust is priceless. A Stoic reminder. You do not grow when life is easy. You grow when you remain virtuous while it is hard. This habit does not make you harsh. It makes you unshakable. As you strengthen your ability to endure discomfort, another realization emerges. Much of our suffering does not come from events, but from unexamined emotions. The Stoics developed a habit that allowed them to feel deeply without being ruled by feeling. Habit 4. Respond, don't react. The space most people never enter. Between what happens to you and how you respond to it, there is a space. Most people never notice it. They live inside reaction. Anger erupts before thought. Fear arrives before reason. Regret follows too late. The Stoics discover that this space is freedom, not freedom from life, but freedom within it. Why reaction controls most lives? Reaction feels automatic, but it is learned. We are taught to defend our ego immediately, to answer disrespect with disrespect, to panic at uncertainty, to equate emotion with truth. But emotions are not commands. They are signals. The Stoics did not suppress emotion. They examined it. The Stoic practice of pause. Epictetus taught his students to delay response, not to become passive, but to become precise. When something provokes you, a word, a look, a loss, a disappointment, the Stoic pauses and asks, is this event harming my character, or only my comfort? Most things hurt comfort. Very few harm character. This realization changes everything. Emotions as visitors, not rulers. Anger will visit. Fear will visit. Sadness will visit. The Stoic does not throw them out violently, nor do they hand over the keys. They observe. They say, I see you, but you do not decide my actions. This habit transforms emotional chaos into emotional clarity. A modern application. Imagine someone insults you. The automatic reaction: defend, retaliate, prove. The Stoic response: pause, assess, choose dignity. Not because the insult is acceptable, but because your character matters more. You refuse to let another person decide who you become in that moment. Why this habit builds inner power. People who react constantly are controlled by circumstances. People who respond deliberately are controlled by principle. Over time, this habit creates emotional stability, self-respect, trust in your own judgment. You stop regretting your words. You stop apologizing to yourself. A quiet Stoic truth. You do not control what you feel, but you always control what you do with it. This is not repression. It is mastery. Emotional healing through response. Many wounds reopen because we keep reacting from old pain. The Stoic response asks, is this the past speaking, or the present? When you learn to respond, old patterns lose their grip. Healing begins not when pain disappears, but when it no longer commands you. Once you stop reacting blindly, you begin to see clearly, and with clarity comes another danger: the constant pull of attention, distraction, noise, comparison. The Stoics guarded their minds fiercely, so they formed another habit, one that modern life desperately needs. Habit 5. Guard your attention. Because what you focus on becomes you. The invisible battle you're losing. Every day, something is fighting for your attention, not gently, not politely, aggressively. Notifications, outrage, comparison, endless opinions, endless noise. The Stoics understood something centuries before screens existed. The mind cannot be free if it is constantly occupied by what does not matter. Attention is not neutral. It shapes your thoughts, your emotions, your character. Why attention is your most precious resource. You can earn money back. You can rebuild strength. You can repair mistakes. But attention once spent is gone forever. What you repeatedly focus on becomes your mood, your values, your identity. This is why many people feel exhausted without doing anything meaningful. Their attention is constantly fragmented. The Stoic view of distraction. Marcus Aurelius warned against a scattered mind, not because distraction is immoral, but because it steals your life without asking. A distracted mind reacts instead of chooses, consumes instead of creates, escapes instead of confronts. The Stoic does not flee the world. They engage selectively. What the Stoics chose to focus on. They asked only 3 questions. Is this within my control? Is this aligned with virtue? Does this improve my character? If not, they let it pass, not angrily, not defensively, calmly. A modern practice of Stoic attention. Imagine beginning your day not with a screen, but with a question. What deserves my attention today? Not what demands it. What deserves it? Your work, your health, your relationships, your inner state. Everything else becomes background noise. Why this habit heals anxious minds. Anxiety feeds on excess input, too much information, too many comparisons, too many imagined futures. When you guard your attention, your thoughts slow, your emotions stabilize, your presence deepens. You stop living everywhere except where you are. Comparison, the quiet poison. The Stoics warned against measuring your life against others. Comparison is not inspiration, it is distraction. It pulls your attention away from your own path. A Stoic asks, am I becoming better than yesterday, not better than someone else? This single shift restores peace. Attention as self-respect. What you allow into your mind is an act of self-respect or self-neglect. Guarding your attention is not arrogance. It is responsibility. You would not let strangers enter your home and rearrange your furniture. Why allow them into your mind? A Stoic morning declaration. Say this quietly, intentionally. Today, I choose where my attention goes. I will not feed what weakens me. I will nourish what strengthens me. This is how inner order is built. Once your attention is guarded, once your mind is no longer scattered, another challenge appears. Pain, difficulty, adversity. The Stoics did not avoid hardship. They trained to use it. Habit 6. Turn obstacles into training grounds. What stands in the way becomes the way. The moment everything resists you, there comes a point in every life when effort meets resistance. You try, you push, and something pushes back. A closed door, a delay, a loss, a failure you didn't expect. Most people ask, why is this happening to me? The Stoic asks a different question. What is this here to teach me? That single shift turns pain into power. The Stoic view of adversity. To the Stoics, hardship was not an interruption of life. It was life. Marcus Aurelius wrote his Meditations, not from comfort, but from war camps, illness, betrayal, and pressure. He understood something radical. A smooth life creates fragile people. Resistance creates strength. Why struggle is necessary? Strength is never gifted. It is developed. Patience is born in waiting. Courage is born in fear. Wisdom is born in error. Without obstacles, there is no discipline, no resilience, no depth. The Stoics did not romanticize suffering. They used it. The obstacle is the path. This idea is central to Stoic philosophy. When something blocks your progress, it forces creativity. It builds endurance. It reveals character. A setback becomes training. A failure becomes feedback. A hardship becomes refinement. What stands in the way becomes the way forward. How most people respond to difficulty. They resist reality. They say, this shouldn't be happening. This isn't fair. I can't handle this. Resistance multiplies suffering. The Stoic accepts reality first, not in defeat, but in clarity. Acceptance is not approval. It is understanding. Acceptance is power. When you stop arguing with reality, your energy returns. You stop wasting strength on frustration and redirect it toward action. Acceptance says, this is what is happening. Now what is the best response? This is where control is regained. Training your response, not the world. You cannot train life to be gentle, but you can train yourself to be resilient. The Stoics practice voluntary discomfort, mental rehearsal of adversity, reflection after hardship, not to become cold, but to become unbreakable. Modern Stoic practice. When something goes wrong today, pause and ask, what part of this is within my control? What virtue does the situation demand? How can this shape me for the better? Even pain becomes purposeful when it sharpens character. Suffering with meaning versus suffering without it. Pain without meaning feels unbearable. Pain with meaning becomes transformation. The Stoics chose meaning. They believed every hardship was an invitation to practice patience, to strengthen resolve, to deepen wisdom. Nothing was wasted. A Stoic declaration for adversity. Say this slowly. This obstacle is training me. This difficulty is refining me. I will not waste this experience. Say it not to feel better, but to stand stronger. The quiet confidence this creates. When you live this way, fear loses its grip because you know you can endure, you can adapt, You can grow. No challenge arrives empty-handed. Each one carries strength, if you are willing to receive it. Once you stop fearing obstacles, another truth becomes clear. Life is short, and time, once lost, never returns. The Stoics live with urgency, not anxiety, with intention. Habit 7. Live as if time is precious. Because it is. The truth most people avoid. Nothing in your life is guaranteed, except this moment, and even that is fragile. The Stoics did not live obsessed with death. They lived awake to time. They understood something most people forget. Life is not short. We make it short by wasting it. Seneca wrote those words not as poetry, but as a warning. Why time is the ultimate wealth. Money can be earned again. Status can be rebuilt. Opportunities can return. Time cannot. Every hour spent distracted is an hour gone forever. Every day lived unconsciously is a day never lived at all. The Stoics treated time as sacred, not rushed, not frantic, but intentional. Memento mori, remember you will die. This was not a morbid idea. It was a focusing tool. To remember death is to remember life. When you truly understand that your days are numbered, trivial worries lose power. Ego softens. Priorities sharpen. You stop postponing what matters. How awareness of death changes life. You speak more honestly. You waste less energy on resentment. You stop waiting for someday. The Stoics believed, if today were your last, how should you live? Not recklessly, but meaningfully. Busy is not the same as meaningful. Most people fill their days with motion, but not direction. They are busy yet empty. The Stoic asks, does this deserve my time? Does this align with my values? Does this move me toward virtue? If not, it is let go without guilt. Daily Stoic time practices. Morning reflection. Ask what matters today. Midday check-in. Ask, am I spending time wisely? Evening review. Ask, what did I do well? What can improve? This is not pressure. It is presence. Why urgency is not anxiety. Living with urgency does not mean panic. It means respect. Respect for the limited number of mornings, conversations, and chances you have. The Stoics were calm because they were clear. The power of doing one thing well. A meaningful life is not built through excess. It is built through attention. Attention to your work, your character, your relationships, your inner life. Do fewer things. Do them fully. This is Stoic mastery. What to stop wasting time on? Arguing with people who cannot hear you, chasing approval, reliving the past, imagining futures you cannot control, consuming endlessly without reflection. Time spent on these steals from your life. What to invest time in? Strengthening character, serving others, building skill, practicing stillness, living in alignment with your values. These investments compound quietly. A Stoic declaration for time. Say this with gravity. My time is finite. I choose how I spend it. Today, I live deliberately. Let this guide your choices, not fear, but clarity. The Stoic life complete. These 7 habits form a whole. Control what you can, accept what you cannot, master your emotions, act with virtue, detach from outcomes, turn obstacles into training. Lie with respect for time. Together, they do not promise comfort. They promise strength. The quiet transformation. If you live this way long enough, something changes. You become calmer under pressure, less reactive, more grounded, deeply self-respecting. Not because life became easier, but because you became stronger. A healing message. If life has been heavy lately, remember this. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are being shaped. And the Stoic path is not about becoming emotionless. It is about becoming free. Live well, act justly, accept fully, waste nothing. This is the Stoic way.